and welcome to Henry County Chamber of Commerce Community Dialogue, hosted by Engagement and Inclusion Committee. My name is Judy McMurtry. I am owner of JMXL Consultant and the chair for the Engagement and Inclusion Committee. I have special guests joining us today. And before I announce our special guest, I would like to say thank you to Kaiser Permanente, who is our sponsor for this community dialogue. And now I would like to, I'm going to call the names of each individual guest. And at this point, if you can just introduce yourself, that would be amazing. We have George Cruz with us from Georgia Power. We have Carrie Colson also joining us today, and she's from ViStar. We have Charles Moon, who's joined us, and he is also from Truist Bank. And these three are also sponsoring and will be a part of the Engagement and Inclusion Innovation Summit. Okay, so with that said, let's start off with you, George. What you got? Talk to us.
Hey, man, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for that introduction, Judy. My name is George Cruz. I'm the area manager for Henry County and Butts County for Georgia Power.
Awesome. Carrie?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carrie Colson. I am the owner of God is Carrie and an HR business partner for ViStar Credit Union. We are new to the Georgia market, 2 years grassroots, and we are growing.
Awesome. Mr. Moon, go for it. Let's hear you.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Charles Moon. I'm a financial inclusion leader for Truist Bank here on our small business and retail banking. So happy to be here, happy to be a part of the summit.
Awesome. So this community dialogue is going to focus on our up and coming in Innovation Summit, which is June 18th at Merle Mander. And it's focused on engagement for change. And the umbrella focus of this summit is workplace culture. And we have a dynamic panel with us today because their workplace culture is stellar. And we're going to dive into it. And I'm going to ask a series of questions, and we're just going to basically have a great conversation and discussion today. So with that said, we're going to start off with this general question, and I want each one of you to answer. And if we go in the order and how you introduce yourself, that would be great for this first question I want to ask. What excites you most about this year's Innovation Summit and the Engagement for Change theme?
Hey, man, I'll go ahead and kick it off.
Okay.
Judy, great question. What excites me the most is the partnership, collaboration, and people are going to walk out with new information. We all know education leads to success. So that's the thing that excites me the most, the collaboration across the business community.
Okay. Carrie?
Yeah, thanks, Charles. I'm sorry. Thanks, George, for kicking us off. But Judy, I think today, in today's culture, what excites me the most is most of the organizations are feeling some of the adverse effects of removing some of the DEI initiatives, and understanding the times that we're in and offering solutions that help navigate these challenges is just very rewarding for me. And like George said, learning from other organizations and professionals that are committed, to having an inclusive, high-performing organization in spite of these challenges is very exciting. So driving engagement for change is exciting for me.
Okay. All right. Come on, Charles. Bring it.
Well, here's what I will tell you. I mean, I think George and Carrie have it absolutely right. And it is inspiring when you have leaders from different organizations who are all honed in on certain things. And I will tell you, that's what I get excited about the most as well. It's just the fact that you're going to have basically a lot of business owners and stakeholders and community, leaders there, all talking about their different experience around culture, but how it's all interconnected. So, at Truist, we say we inspire and build better lives and communities. We know that does not happen in a vacuum. That means we've got to partner with, the George Cruz and the Carrie Colsons and the Barbaras and the Judy McMurtrys. We've got to combine all of that with that thoughtfulness around inclusion to ensure that we're all moving forward. And that's really what I'm getting excited about for this summer.
Okay, well, with that said, and that's a great spinoff for my next question that I have for you. Tell me a little bit about your workplace culture within your own organization and how is it driving any kind of change or productivity? What's going on? Talk to me.
Well, in our culture at Georgia
Well,
Power, safety comes first. Oh, I'm sorry.
no,
Oh,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
George.
Go ahead.
Yeah, in our culture at Georgia Power, we have four pillars. We put safety first. We then, we have intentional inclusion and we act with integrity. And last but not least is superior performance. So during every meeting that we have, we tend to drive our conversations in a diverse manner. We have intentional moments where we share experiences or share information across various perspectives that generate some inclusion across our workforce. We have about 9 employee resource groups that tend to go out and serve as vehicles to educate our workforce as well as inspire them by sharing various pieces of information that are very cultural, right? So we try to make sure that we highlight diversity, equity, and inclusion in every setting that we have. Valuing our employees and developing our employees, that's like the backbone of our organization. And we can't do that by not asking people to be their authentic self and to bring their authentic selves to work. So those are some of the things that we're doing. And we're valuing the people, meeting people where they are, making sure that we make sure that our organization understands those four pillars and we promote them throughout our organization.
All right, thank you. Carrie, what about ViStar? Talk
I
to us
love
about ViStar.
Yeah, so similar to George, our purpose is to do good, and that's at the heart of everything that we do. And our core value is to lead by example. So our mission is dedicated to doing good and leading by example through collaborative partnerships that support our pillars. And we support youth, the next generation, military members, veterans, and just overall community vitality in the areas served by ViStar Credit Union. And so that's how we define innovation in the context of workplace culture and inclusion. So serving the people that we serve, looking like the people we serve, doing business like the people we serve, etc. And just having that diversity within the organization can.
Okay, thank you.
Judy,
Thank you. Am I going out? Is it me?
I'm not sure, but I answered the question.
Yes, thank you very much. Charles?
You know, I continue to say, I mean, I don't hear anything wrong with what they're saying, and that's really what it's all about, diversity of thought. At Truist, we lean in and start every interaction, whether it's internal, even external, with our purpose, mission, and values. Now, you guys have heard our purpose, which is to inspire and build better lives and communities. But our mission is a three-pronged approach, right? We talk about our clients, right? Being able to provide a distinctive and secure and successful experience for our clients through touch and technology. But then in the middle of our mission, we talk about our teammates, right? Create an inclusive environment that energizes and empowers teammates to learn, grow, and have meaningful careers. And then, of course, our stakeholders, where we talk about optimizing, long-term value for our stakeholders and making sure that we're doing that through sound and ethical practices. But if I think about this, I think about really where rubber meets the road, and that is in your values. That is the DNA of the company. And I honestly believe that we got it right. And so we basically have 5 things that we lean in on every single day. We talk about being trustworthy, right? We love to serve with integrity. We talk about caring, right? That you've heard the commercials, right? You start with care, you get a different type of bank. Well, that is permeating through every teammate, right? We talk about every moment matters. We want everybody to be able to share that, and we do that through caring. We also talk about one team, right? Together we can accomplish anything. And that doesn't just mean internally, that means everywhere. So even as a community, if we actually come together, we can accomplish a lot more. We talk about success. And the reality is that when you're leading with care and you really have that one team approach, that means that when our clients win, we win, right? We are
Right.
in it with you. And that's what really matters. And here's the one that I love. And I will tell you, this is what gets me out of the bed in the morning. We think about just having a fulfilling workplace environment. And one of our core values is happiness, right? We think that that is a very important part to being able to show up as the best version of yourself every single day, so that way you can help other people achieve the best versions of themselves. And so that's really what it's all about. We talk about being trustworthy, being caring, showing up as one team, making sure that our clients are successful so we can be successful. And then, of course, all of that is rooted in the positive energy of happiness. And that's really what's in our DNA here at Truist.
Okay, that's awesome. So you're getting me excited already talking about the Innovation Summit. Oh, hey, Miss Laura, thank you for joining us. Can you hear me? Laura, are you muted? I can't hear you, Laura. Unmute yourself.
How are you guys?
Oh, great. Okay, a couple of things. One, if you can introduce yourself, I'm gonna put you on the spot for three things because I want to make sure you tell how wonderful your job is. I don't want to mention it because you're going to tell what you do and the name and your company as well, and talk about a little bit about the culture of your company. Laura, you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Laura Whitaker Short. I'm the Director of Community Relations.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
For what hospital? Piedmont, can you hear? Piedmont Henry Hospital? Yes. Okay, awesome. And tell us a little bit about Piedmont Henry workplace culture. Okay, sorry, we kind of lost her. Did I lose everybody? Okay, that's okay. We'll keep moving. She'll join us in a little bit. That technology, you gotta love innovation, but you know how it is with technology at times. But that's okay. We keep moving. Okay, with that said, so what are you coming to the Innovation Summit to learn about this year? What makes it different from previous times, and why are you also excited about coming to the Innovation Summit this year? We'll start off with you, Carrie.
For me, the word innovative means thinking outside of the box, right? Being creative. And so, receiving and also giving some powerful action steps and tools and resources to implement into our own organization and other organizations to continue to drive an inclusive and diverse work culture is something I expect to walk away with, and attendees can expect to walk away with as well. But again, our differences is what makes us stronger. So I'm very excited about, learning other ways and innovative ways to continue to drive a high inclusive work culture.
Okay. All right, Charles, talk to us. Charles, you hear me?
For me, I think that yes, can you guys hear me? Just want to make sure we're good. One of the things that I think that I am looking forward to the most is getting a lot of great minds in the same room, right? A lot of times we see it through our own lens and we see it through our own perspective, but this summit will give us an opportunity to truly listen to what's happening at other places, right? We may not be able to take all of the culture and import it into ours, but if there are little nuggets and little bits and pieces that we can pull from to make our culture better, right? To make us better versions of ourselves, I think that that's really where rubber meets the road. Yes, there are going to be a lot of great presenters, a lot of great companies there to kind of talk about their culture. But I think about the actionable items that we're able to walk away with after the fact, right? That one little nugget that can change the game for any small business owner. It isn't just about the big businesses, like us. It's really about how do we then incorporate that into these smaller organizations who understand that diversity, equity, and inclusion is not just about the words, it's really about the work behind it. And so if we can impart even just a little bit of knowledge on them about how they can go back and make their businesses better, that's the part that I'm looking to get the most out of this summit. I think it's going to be an amazing experience for them.
Okay, George.
And you know what, Carrie and Charles, they summed it up very well. For me, and Charles mentioned this earlier, happiness. It's a metric that you can't quantify, but when you see the smile, when you see the eyes, when you see aha moments for someone is right now looking forward to this summit and saying, once I get to that summit, I want to see some change. I want to implement something within my own strategies. And for me, the thing that I'm going to get out of this is somebody's going to walk away with that blueprint, that updated playbook. To Charles' point, they're going to have a new nugget to take a look at, and they're going to create a new milestone, and it's going to have a very great impact in their business as well as in their community. This is a summit that has some very brilliant minds that's going to be speaking from their heart, and they're going to be sharing these experiences, and people are going to walk away with that. So the breakthroughs, the happiness, the gathering of relationships, and the connectivity, man, those are some of the things I'm definitely looking forward to seeing happen at this summit.
All right, you guys got me excited also for it, because with that in mind, it's good for larger business, medium size, and small business. So it's going to include all types of businesses at the summit, and that's how you glean in, because of the differences, because we bring a different perspective. We each do workplace culture in our own special way, but that's the big umbrella. So we know diversity, equity, inclusion is important. However, workplace culture really, it's the larger umbrella. Like, if you don't have your workplace culture together, like Charles mentioned, integrity, respect, if you don't have trust built in, if you don't have engagement or able to do employee retention longer, you run into problems, and every company, every organization have a workplace culture, whether by default or design. So if you want your workplace culture to be by design, you need to be at the summit with us, and we'll help. You have some awesome people on this panel, some wonderful people, and they're also going to be participating, not just attending, but participating in our summit this year. So as you hear them speak, you should be excited to come out and really hear them expound even more on what we're talking about here today with this engagement summit. So with that said, why is taking workplace culture seriously no longer an option in today's workplace, but in the business climate it's needed? So why should we really take this seriously? I'm going to start off with Charles.
So I think that, to take workplace culture seriously is to take employee growth and development seriously, right? Ultimately, when you think about the ability to impart or get the best version of your teammates, right? Get people that want to show up to work, and it doesn't necessarily feel like that work, that 9 to 5, that grind. You've got to be able to invest in the diversity of your team. Not only when you think about diversity, you're talking about age and sex and, and background. You got to think about diversity of thought. And I think that is so very important because of the different backgrounds that your employees have. You've got to take all of those things into consideration. And the question becomes, do they have a place where they can plug into that makes the organization better, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If they felt like what they were bringing to the table isn't a good fit for where they are, then, right? Because everybody wants to be a part of something special. So right. Even if we consciously or subconsciously are out there looking for those opportunities, I share this with one of my peers, right? Everybody, regardless whether it's work, in their professional life, and they're to be respected, and they want to be connected. And so when we think about being able to do all of those things through the lens of diversity, right? That is it. That is what makes your employees the best version of themselves and makes your culture one that other people want to emulate. And so when you get all these people in the room at this Inclusion Summit on June 18th, I think that a lot of that is going to be happening whether people want it to or not, whether it is intentional or not. Some stuff is going to be absorbed almost through osmosis, right? They're going to just absorb some of these good tricks that are out there, and hopefully they're able to walk away and continue those things so they get the best version of themselves, as they're out there kind of amplifying what they're seeing at the summit.
Okay. All right, Carrie.
Yeah, really good. Thank you, Charles. I think we all know what it's like, or maybe not. I know what it's like to work in a toxic work environment. And if you've never worked in a toxic work environment, consider yourself blessed. And so I would say in this demanding environment, organizations can no longer afford to let their cultures, evolve passively or cling to outdated norms.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Judy, a culture is there that
Yeah,
success this year and beyond really requires us to actively shape culture to align with strategic goals instead of
uh-huh.
allowing it to develop by default. And that's
Correct.
that's how toxic work cultures are created. I work in HR and I've been doing this for the past 15 years. And
Mm-hmm.
toxic work cultures, they negatively impact an organization's bottom
That's
line,
true.
from turnover to profitability to marketability to competitiveness, et cetera. And so again, people want to go to a place where they feel
Mm-hmm.
belonging, which is why we want to, design the culture by default to where it's inclusive, but they want to feel like they belong and they want to make sure that their core values align with the organization's competencies. And so someone said it earlier, I think George said it earlier, when people show up as their true authentic selves,
Mm-hmm.
they flow and they create and they're a lot more productive because they found their purpose within the workplace. And to me, that's the most important thing. People want value, but they also want to make sure their purpose is being used each and every day that they show up for the organization.
All right. All right, George. What do you want to add to this?
Yeah, I'll just add a little bit to this nice gumbo, this nice soup that they got put in there. All these good ingredients. Just like Carrie just mentioned, people need to know that their purpose is being fulfilled. And at Georgia Power, of course, we keep the customers at the center of everything that we do. And we know that to serve our 2.7 million, 2.8 million customers, we need a talented workforce that believes in our philosophy and also they act upon it, right?
Right.
So in our organization, we are always concerned about making sure we break down the silos. We want our organization to break down those barriers that prevent the communication levels that keep us working in isolation, because that does not make us the best. As we
Right.
are seeking to become the best respected company or utility company in the super southeast, we understand that, to Carrie's point, all of that diversity, equity, inclusion, and being heard, being celebrated, all of that equates to your competitiveness, and we want to retain and develop our employees. So during our one-on-one sessions from a leadership
Mm-hmm.
perspective, during our organizational conversations, whether the president is speaking, those are some of the things that are some consistent messaging that permeates through our organization. It's not it's not a talk, but it's also a walk. And we all know that culture eats strategy for breakfast, and so we're always trying to make sure that people want to work here, they want to play here. I've even heard Mr. Moon say work, play, pray, all of that in one session, right? But my point is, we definitely want people to feel like they belong and they have a sense of community, and we have each other's back. So that's part of our culture, and those are some of the things that we promote within our organization.
Okay, and speaking of organizations, I will be remiss if I do not mention our sponsors for this event. Once again, the presenting sponsor is Truist, Platinum is Georgia Power, Gold sponsor is CHOA, which is Children's Healthcare Hospital of Atlanta. We have Bronze sponsor. We have Henry County Water Authority, Kaiser Permanente, our table sponsors, Vice Star, Henry County Schools, and Piedmont Henry. So once again, thank you sponsors as well. And I know they sound like large organizations, and some people are like, why should I come as a small business, or why should I come as a medium-sized business to learn about culture? I don't have a massive budget. So what do you tell organizations that are small and medium-sized if they want to create a culture of trust and belonging without a massive budget? What would be your recommendation for them? How would they start creating that kind of culture within their organization? Did you hear me? George, go ahead. You go first.
Sure. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Okay. All right. So what I would say is that it's enough there's enough. We want to make sure everyone grows, right? So rising tides lift all ships. Or whether you're an industry leader, we want people to understand there's enough information, enough connectivity out here for everyone to seize strategies about developing relationships, the importance of trust, how to increase your brand. All those different conversations are going to have clear message of how to become more successful. And once again, it's available for anyone, from Main Street to any. Encourage even the person smallest, but to come and receive some of these messages.
Okay, George, you're going in and out, so I'm gonna jump over to Carrie right now. Yeah, George, you're going in and out, so I'm gonna go over to Carrie. Okay, Carrie, are you able? Because he's frozen right now.
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yes, I
Can you guys hear
can.
me? Okay. All right. So again, I think it starts with building relationships. Small to mid-sized businesses. Wondering how they can create a culture of trust and belonging. Without a big budget, but it really starts with building relationships, and you don't need money for that. You just need intention. Getting to know each other while embracing similarities, but most importantly, our differences, because again, those are the things that allow us to have different perspectives and cast a wider net to accomplish our goals. You're going to always hear me say, and this is just who I am and what I believe, but aligning people's core values with organizational competencies gives them a sense of culture and belonging. It just does. So giving them a voice and gathering feedback from those discussions help identify where the culture currently stands and where it needs to go by listening to them, right? And then strategizing with the key stakeholders and begin implementing those changes while effectively communicating the impact of those changes along the way. What happens is sometimes the C-suite leaders and senior executives start making these decisions without the buy-in and the input of the people that are actually doing the work. And again, if they don't have a voice or if they don't have a seat at the table, they aren't going to really feel as if they belong. And so again, effectively communicate those changes. Some of those changes should include some of the feedback that they gave you. So again, it's a full circle moment. Everyone was heard, and some of the changes that we're going to implement came from you. That way you have buy-in as well. But engagement and inclusion continues a culture of trust. Is established when you build those relationships. Start by building the relationship first, and then go from there. You'll be surprised.
Yes, thank you. Charles, are you with us?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, I think that Carrie hit the nail right on the head. We think about the small businesses that are going to be there, and a lot of them are great at whatever it is that they do. But I think back to kind of, a pretty prolific speaker, Simon Sinek, who says, regardless of your what we do in life, our why is our driving purpose. Right, and change in our cause or our change never our beliefs never change. And I'm sorry for butchering it, Simon. I apologize. But the reality is that if the why, if you understand your what, events like this help you establish your why. Right, you see and you have evidence of things that are happening in other companies and that strong culture that starts to exist. So you may be great at running your salon, running your small business, running your business services, whatever the case may be, but events like this allow you to reestablish and connect to your why. And that why may not have been the business that you're in, right? It may have been that you're out there trying to change your family tree or change your community one person at a time, or help those people who may be unfortunate. So what we try to do is make sure that, when people are coming to this event, that they get the full scope, that they have an opportunity. And, this is not just about sitting down in your chair and listening to somebody, spout about what their culture looks like, from the stage. It's really about being able to engage with them on a one-on-one basis, right? That collaboration piece that Carrie mentioned, getting the opportunity to network with some
Charles,
small business
We're losing you,
owners and tweets. Where can
oh,
I
Charles. Uh,
Okay, I'm sorry. I was
you're
saying,
in and
it
out.
gives us an opportunity to have, yes,
I'm
who
just
are
saying
shining
you're
an
in and out.
example of what can you hear me now, or is it still breaking up?
It's breaking up. So with that said,
Breaking up.
you gave us a great segue, which I'm gonna have Carrie talk a little bit more about the agenda. Can you talk about the agenda, Carrie?
I should pull the agenda up. That would be great. Or maybe maybe George can talk about the agenda. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Unfortunately, I don't have the agenda in front
Okay,
of
you
me.
know what? I got the agenda. I have you. Okay, so
Well,
just to give you a little bit overview of the agenda, we're going to start off overview. This is an overview. I want to get you excited to come and see for yourself, but I'm not going to give away everything. But we do have Chick-fil-A, one of the owners, a franchise owner who's from Jodeco Road, Chick-fil-A, who has a phenomenal story about workplace culture and what he has done for his success and how his business have become so successful. And again, you will already meet these lovely people that you have on the panel right now because the way it is structured, we're going to come in with a keynote speaker, and we're going to have fireside chat from really some awesome leaders as well, discussing driving employee engagement during economic challenges. So we'll give you some tips on that. We have 3 great breakout sessions with some wonderful speakers who will facilitators, and Carrie is one of those. She'll be facilitating with Michelle Hare. But you can definitely go on the website and see more of each speaker, and their bios are on the website so you can learn more. But we're going to do a tabletop discussion. But what we're basically going to do is have you create a blueprint of your organization. If you got the best organization, workplace culture, you may not have to tweak it. That's okay. But you, based on who we have on this platform, who will be in the house, like Charles and George, as well as Carrie say, the networking piece, the people who will be there in the room that you can talk to about what's going on in your business. It's always room for improvement, right? And with that said, you will walk away with something where it's not just going to be listening to great presenters, which we do have, but it's engaging, just like Charles, George, and Carrie has mentioned. This is an engage in summit. So you will have a lot of activities that you'll be doing and give you more opportunity to network with people at your table, people around you in the room at the different breakout sessions. So with that said, I know we having some technical difficulties here, and I do apologize for having the technical difficulties because it's like, oh, these speakers are amazing. And I hate to take away from that with what's going on because I love hearing what they're saying. So on that note, George, I'm gonna have you give us, you, Carrie, and Charles, give us a closing statement in regards to your takeaway, combining the workplace culture with what's going to happen at the Innovation Summit, what the participants are looking to take away from it, or hopefully what we're working for the participants to take away on this summit. So give us some insight on that.
In my opinion, a few things that's going to happen. You're going to have a breakthrough. You're going to have be able to update your strategy, your business plan. You're going to receive testimonials and insights from professionals. You're going to move from theory to application after you leave the summit. You're going to have, it's going to be a great experience. Someone may even have an increased self-confidence of their business. So just know that you will be gaining some new peers, some new cohorts, and you're going to be introduced to a whole new community, and you're going to build some stronger relationships. So those are some of the things that I want to say. And be there or be square, but be there.
Carrie, are you with us? Well, okay, Charles, because Carrie looks like she's frozen, but go ahead, Charles.
She was. She wanted us to stare at her beauty. That's what it was. So, all right. So I will tell you this. My peers have it exactly right. You guys, the reason why you don't want to miss this is because you're talking about across the Southern Crescent, a great collaboration of business owners from small, your micropreneurs, all the way to your large businesses. And so here's what I will tell you. They say people perish for lack of vision, and George mentioned it. Ultimately, you're going to walk away with a blueprint, an opportunity to say, you know what, I took not just from somebody, because it's okay to be a copycat, but you've got to be copying the right cat, right? So we want to make sure that you're in the right room with the right people, able to pull from them whatever it is to help magnify your why. It is not just about you getting in there, shaking hands, and collecting business cards. It's about what can we do with that information after the fact? What can we make actionable? What can we go out and say, you know what, I'm going to connect with that person over the next 14 days. I'm going to connect with this person who connected me to a resource, because obviously we're all there to talk about our workplace culture, but those workplace cultures also have what? A ROI. There is a return on investment for being in that room, and that means that maybe your business is on a new trajectory. Maybe you've made a couple of tweaks here and there that are going to change how your outputs come out, or how you interact with the people around you, or maybe you have found out that you're doing something in a very similar lane. So how do we not get people together, right? And try to figure out how we might be able to go farther together than trying to go fast by ourselves. So that's what it's really all about. I'm excited about it. You should be excited about it. Hopefully, we have a standing room only, but there are going to be some great resources, some great context, some great cohorts that will come out of this. It's really about making sure that you're in the room and have your name counted. So, Carrie, I'll toss it over to you to take us home, to tell us why people should be in this room on June 18th for this Inclusion Summit.
Thank you, Charles. Just like George and Charles just related to, it's an exciting time to network, to synergize, to meet like-minded individuals and individuals that don't think like us, because in order to foster a culture of tolerance, respect, and understanding in the workplace, we're just more effective when a range of perspectives represent the true breadth of the population. And that means that, we are all different, but we're all included. And so if we're exposed to a broad variety of viewpoints, rather than one-side narratives, like you said, Charles, we are more likely to strive for unity and go a lot further. There's an old African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And that's what we're doing here at this Innovation Summit. So come check us out.
Awesome. I thank you three for joining us on this broadcast today. And so this was a perfect example of workplace culture. We didn't miss a beat. We had some interruption, which happens in life, which happens at work. No one got frustrated. No one got upset. We just kept it moving. And because we have a group of diverse people that are diverse thinkers, they were able to overcome the situation, and we were able to still get through this broadcast in spite of our challenges, in spite of our differences. And that's what it's all about. And innovation is coming fast and furious, but we can still get around it and we can make things happen. So with that said, again, we want to thank Kaiser Permanente as being our sponsor. And we want to thank all of you too for joining us, whether it's on social media, on YouTube, on Facebook. So you will see this stream live on those channels. And hopefully we'll see you again. It's June 18th. It's Innovation Summit, Change for Engagement, Empowering Through Trust, Leadership, and Inclusion. And it will be from 8:30 to 8 o'clock to 2:30 at Merle Mander Conference Center in Stockbridge. Go on Henry County Chamber of Commerce website and make sure you register, because we have to take 50 less people this year than we've done in the past. And like Charles alluded to, we probably be a standing room only. So make sure you're there, because we don't want the fire marshals to put anybody out. So come and register early. So make sure you're in the room. This is a place you must have to be in the room, as they state all the time. Okay, with that said, thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye, everyone. Have a great
Okay,
day.
bye.
Thank you.